Hello, welcome to Tête-à-tête, a destination for watch lovers where we go beyond the watches themselves and delve into the fascinating stories of CEOs. Today we have Patrick Pruniaux, who is in charge of two watch brands, Ulysse Nardin and Girard Perregaux. But currently we are at Watches and Wonders. We are in a watch, right? We are in the essence of time. Patrick, did you give the designers this description when you were designing the booth?
Actually, we work with a team because we really wanted a booth that would be illustrating very well what we're doing and what we're launching this year.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
It's
very
cool, huh?
immersive. I've never been in a watch.
In a watch.
Some people may say we're decorative elements.
We are, not the watch.
Okay, so when I was researching your background, I was not that shocked to find out that you were in the military.
Yeah, I spent a little bit of time in a French military, in a paratrooper regiment. Actually, I was a first lieutenant.
Lieutenant, I saw that on your LinkedIn page.
Which was great. It was a great time.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised to say that I feel it has influenced your leadership style.
I don't know, but it's true that I've learned a lot. From that experience. It's like a very simple management, but actually all the basic rules are there.
Yeah.
Look after your people. And obviously you can give instruction, but it's even better if you try to bring everyone behind a common goal.
That's true. That makes a lot of sense. But in your training, when you were in the military, what did you excel at?
Actually, I love to do sports, so I was not too bad, actually, for long and tiring walk, especially in the middle of the night.
Oh, so endurance.
Endurance. I'm a diesel. I start very slow, but I can usually go a long way.
Okay, that actually is a perfect segue to my next question, which is how do you stay motivated and focused in a constantly evolving industry?
It's in my role, it's probably the easiest things to do to remain motivated. If there is not one morning when I wake up, I'm like, not sure what I'm gonna do. No, never, I swear. It's actually amazing. Actually, I can tell you, I'm gonna confess something. When I was a student, every morning was painful.
Yes.
In that role, every morning is excitement. Really, because it's the level of creativity, the amount of opportunities we have, what we can do, it's mind-blowing. It's everywhere. So, and I think it's a privilege to be leading a company which is almost 2 centuries old.
Yeah, that is incredible. Honestly, that is an incredible feat. So also in your background, this is something that I found surprising, which was your history with Apple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with Apple Watches. And then did you feel like getting the perspective from more of a technology in terms of the fact that Apple is temporary? Whatever you create in an Apple will last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So getting that perspective of innovation, has that impacted or influenced your tenure in Ulysse Nardin?
It's probably what I would not remember from the Apple time. I think probably from the Apple time I remember is that search, that quest for excellence in service and making sure your clients are using the product you're selling them. And having a long-term view. Apple has that. Even if the product have a short-term lifetime.
I have all Apple.
Yeah, I still have a couple of Apple devices, believe me. But what's interesting is probably the reason why I was so happy to come back to the high-horology, the luxury watchmaking. Yeah. It's because I think we make things that are gonna last forever. Yeah. And it's typically the case. Yeah, it's timeless. But even more than that, you can bring a lot of innovation with a timeless product.
Okay. And then, so having all these learnings, what is the biggest challenge do you feel has occurred for you as a leader in companies, and how did you overcome that? Or what is your process to overcome any hard challenge?
Yeah, I think some of the challenges we could have as a company is it's almost the level of creativity is almost too high.
Okay.
So we have too much on our plate. So we need to focus, and we need and actually, as we sometimes say internally, simplicity is complexity. So if you want to make something simple, it's actually very complex.
Very difficult.
Here it's a very good example. Here you could look at it and say, hey, it's as basic as making a bigger watch movement.
Yeah.
Actually, it's very hard to make if you want to make it right. Making things right is probably the ultimate goal of true luxury.
No, that's true. I've heard that as well. I think when I forgot which fashion designer was the hardest thing to do is to design a simple dress.
Yeah.
So that can also be in the watch industry. Another thing I wanted to ask is, what advice would you give to other leaders in smaller companies who are now foraying their way into the watch industry?
Well, it's interesting. I'm not sure I'm in a position to give advices. I learn a lot either from the large brands or even from the smaller brands. And I think we can all learn one from another. One thing that we strive for is having a very long-term view. We've been here almost 2 centuries and we're going to be here for a long time. It's also our view now as an independent brand.
Yeah. We're going to see Ulysse Nardin in the moon.
Oh, why? It's too close, the moon.
Yeah. We're
Look
going
beyond.
to go next galaxy.
Yeah.
We've already started planning the design for the next galaxy. So another thing I wanted to ask is tell us how you got to this process of the latest freak.
Oh, yeah. So it's been a very interesting process, and it's a collective process, something we've done now we've been working on it for almost 5 years. The freak used to be, so it's more than 20 years old, and there's been different iteration over time, but we decided 5 years ago we'd build a freak as a small collection. Then we started working on a Freak X, which became a success. And at the same time, we thought, okay, there should be a freak, which is like the central point of the freak collection and the center of gravity of the freak collection and of Ulysse Nardin overall.
Yeah.
And then we started working on a freak that you could wear every day, but on the other hand, that would encapsulate a lot of the brand value and of the freak values.
Yeah.
So we work for that essence of the freak and essence of Ulysse Nardin. That's how we came with the freak one.
Okay.
And believe me, we're launching it today, but that's what it's going to be for the next decades to come.
Yeah, it will be the main icon.
It is. It is already the icon.
Yeah, for sure. And then finally, I wanted to ask you, how do you celebrate or unwind after achieving a milestone?
I'm not the best at celebrating, but I'm very good at unwinding.
Okay.
So you're probably going to find me in a week from now somewhere in the mountains skiing, backcountry skiing. That's probably where you're going to find me for a couple of days.
You'll be hidden. No one can reach you.
Yeah. I was actually last week in Norway with our partner from Nardin. We had a fantastic skiing experience.
Oh, nice. So nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us at